This is the AEW Dynamite August 27, 2025 full show results video, which takes place at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. FTR hit the ring to address the controversial finish at Forbidden Door, where Dax Harwood insists he was pinned by the illegal man. Harwood confronts referee Paul Turner, blasting him as an incompetent moron who cost FTR their rightful 11th World Tag Team Championship. Demanding the decision be reversed, FTR pushes Turner to admit his mistake, but Turner stands firm, saying his ruling is final. Stokely Hathaway backs FTR, hurling insults at Turner before a shoving match breaks out. Suddenly, Adam Copeland storms out only for Christian Cage to ambush Hathaway with a killswitch before chaos erupts. Referees and security flood the ring as FTR and Copeland trade blows. Once separated, Cage mocks FTR's families, brutally referencing Cash Wheeler's late father. Copeland grabs the mic, announcing that at All Out in Toronto on September 20th, it's official, Copeland and Cage vs FTR for the first time ever, promising FTR are dead men. Darby Allin cuts a chilling promo, showcasing his torn, bloody ear while warning Jon Moxley he'll take his career at All Out. Reflecting on Everest's fragility of life, he paints with his blood, revealing All Out with handprints, vowing Moxley must be ready to die stepping into the ring. Then we saw a match between Daniel Garcia vs Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley and Daniel Garcia battled in a hard-hitting, technical clash. The match began with grappling exchanges before Moxley's power took over. Garcia targeted Moxley's leg with dragon screws and submissions, nearly finishing with the Dragon Tamer multiple times. Moxley fought back with strikes, a superplex, and a brutal DDT on the steel steps, but Garcia's resilience kept him alive. Trading counters in the closing stretch, Garcia locked the Dragon Tamer again, but Moxley reversed into a bulldog choke. After a series of pin attempts, Moxley caught Garcia in a small package for the 3 count, surviving the war to secure a hard-fought victory. Post-match, Moxley and Schaffer leave Wheeler Yuta in the ring with a microphone. He calls Darby Allin out and says Jon isn't gonna waste his breath answering his challenge, and the answer is no. Moxley gets in Garcia's face on the floor and seems to fake out either a kiss or a bite to the ear before finally leaving. A frustrated Daniel Garcia throws a chair and pie-faces a camera on his way out. Wheeler Yuta cut a promo in Philadelphia, mocking the hostile crowd and boasting about injuring stars like Will Ospreay, Chuck Taylor, and even replacing Bryan Danielson. As he proclaimed his dominance, the arena went dark, and the Hook signal appeared. Hook stormed the ring, evading Yuta's charge and locking in the Red Rum before dropping him with a devastating Superman punch. The crowd erupted as Hook stood tall, cutting Yuta's arrogant tirade short with decisive action. Footage shows MJF furious after Sunday's match, ranting about being underappreciated despite being the best on the mic, in the ring, and in the world. He threatens Mark Briscoe, saying he should have burned him alive and will finish him next time. MJF vows that when he signs a contract with Hangman Page, it won't be for a match, it'll be for his soul. The next match happened between Harley Cameron and Kris Statlander vs Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. The match begins with Statlander and Ford trading offense before quick heel tags isolate Statlander. After the break, the babyfaces rally with tandem offense, but chaos erupts as all 4 women hit signature moves. Statlander catches Ford in an electric chair facebuster before locking in a scissored armbar, forcing Ford to submit. Harley Cameron and Kris Statlander score the victory by submission. Post-match, Megan jumps Kris and they get into a brawl. Kris Stat with a huge super kick, Bayne in the ropes, but Willow Nightingale hits the ring and the Megasis gets away. Harley gets in the ring and hugs both Kris and Willow, and raises both their hands. Renee Paquette introduces Mercedes, who enters flaunting her AEW TBS championship alongside a display of her 9 titles. Mercedes vows to surpass Ultimo Dragon's legacy by collecting even more championships, warning every female champion to beware. Asked about Alex Windsor making her tap, Mercedes dismisses it, claiming she wasn't legal and only swatting a bug. She mocks Windsor, threatening to hospitalize her alongside her husband, before shifting focus to celebrating her reign and dancing in the ring. From his Delaware farm, Mark Briscoe cuts a promo while introducing his newborn, Matt Briscoe. He calls out MJF, vowing to burn his hopes and dreams, and rejects the idea that he can't win the big one. Briscoe then shifts focus to TNT champion Kyle Fletcher, declaring their rivalry tied 2-2 and challenging him to a title match in Philadelphia. The next match happened between Brodito and Jetspeed vs Don Callis family. High-paced chaos as Bandito, Hechicero, Takeshita, Alexander, King, Okada, Bayley, and Night Clash in non-stop action. Brody King dominates with power moves and dives, while everyone hits big spots in classic, do something cool sequences. Takeshita and Okada nearly come to blows before Brody intervenes. In the end, Josh Alexander catches Mike Bailey in a small package, securing the win for the Don Callis family. Hangman Adam Page comes to the ring, and thanks Will Ospreay, wishing him recovery in a future title challenge, before warning MJF that he'll beat him if he ever signs for a rematch. Don Callis interrupts, declaring the AEW World title will belong to the Callis family, sending his men to surround Page. Hangman fights back but is overwhelmed until Jet Speed arrives. Callis arms Rocky Romero, but Kenny Omega shocks the crowd with a heroic return, clearing house with V-triggers, dragon suplexes, and baton shots. Hangman and Omega unite, hitting a buckshot V-trigger combo on Lance Archer before embracing, rekindling their bond to a huge ovation. Toni Storm cuts a promo next to Mina Shirakawa about how Mina's gonna beat Athena at death before Dishonor on Friday, and we get interview clips from Athena about how she's gonna kick Shirakawa's ass so bad that Sandman would shit his pants. Toni and Mina kiss about it before throwing out the universal up yours gesture. The next match happened between Gates of Agony and Ricochet versus the Ops for the AEW World Trios Championship. Ricochet and Hobbs start hot, with Hobbs' power overwhelming until Shibata and Khan join the fray. Heavy strikes fly, including endless chop exchanges and big lariats. The match breaks down as all six men collide. Joe dominates with a rock bottom and senton, Ricochet rallies with high-flying offense, but MVP interferes with a cane shot. Samoa Joe locks in the coquina clutch, forcing Ricochet to submit, and the Ops retain the AEW World Trios Championship. Gates of Agony helps Ricochet up and then drops him when the Hurt Syndicate's music hits. Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin come down the aisle, and the Gates meet them with a brawl. In the main event of the show, we saw a Falls Count Anywhere match between Claudio Castagnoli versus Darby Allin. The fight starts backstage as Claudio Castagnoli dominates Darby Allin, slamming him through a TV and swinging him into barricades before violently launching him onto the announce desk. After brutal table and chair spots, including an avalanche Carolyn lift and powerbomb through wood, Allin refuses to quit. He rallies with a Yoshi tonic and 2 coffin drops, finally pinning Claudio. Darby Allin secures a hard-fought victory in a chaotic, punishing battle. After Darby Allin's win, Gabe Kidd ambushes him with a German suplex. The Death Riders arrive, but Darby fights back, taking down Jon Moxley before slipping free. Kidd regains control, only for Darby to escape through the crowd. Kidd storms backstage in frustration, leaving Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli in the ring, and the show goes off the air. How would you rate this week's AEW Dynamite show? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching the video.